So hello and welcome to this week's episode of Rebel City Podcast. This week's guest is the incredibly funny up-and-coming comedian Gary Faulds. This episode was an absolute pleasure to record with Gary. I think both me and Matt enjoyed it immensely. I think mostly because of the amount of sharing that we did. I know that for sure myself shared quite a lot with Gary. It was quite a natural conversation. He's a nice guy. He's hilariously funny, and he openly shares himself about some mental health issues. Some of the things that we cover in the episode is dealing with anxiety, challenging yourself, relationships, triggers. We even talk about like ground roots, movements and mental health. Gary's got a anxiety group for men. And he talks about helping other people set up groups and how important that is and going forward. We spoke about growing up in Glasgow and Scotland, a wee bit of a vegan backlash that he got online around the vegan sausage rolls, and dealing with the death of close relatives. Gary was really honest. It was just really refreshing to speak to somebody that's just absolutely balls out with their issues. And like I said, it made me and Matt share a bit more than what we normally do. I don't know if I should be sharing more than what I normally do, but I did it anyway. This week's sponsor, you might know by now that I do like a wee sort of positive mental health, but as a sponsor of the show. I've listened back to this podcast, and it's, I'm not going to shy away from saying that I think it's a great podcast. Some things in here that people need to be talking about and people need to be listening to. So this week's sponsor is going to be sharing. And I think that this is something that I had a discussion on Twitter about. People were saying just talking isn't enough. Just talking definitely isn't enough, but when you share your issues, if you're open and honest with other people, and you bring into your own awareness some of the things that might be running through your mind and your subconscious, then all you really need to do is set about taking advice of others for whatever and put them to bed, as it might be. Any time that I'm sharing with people, as long as I'm being honest with myself and I'm being honest with them, I always take something away from it. So that's one of the positive things that you get for sharing. Not only that, and we speak about this in the episode, is that it allows people round about you to adjust their behaviour. If you don't tell your girlfriend, your wife, your boyfriend, your husband, your children even, how you feel if you're struggling, then how are they ever going to be able to react appropriately or no question you if you don't look like you're having a good time, and they know that you're anxious and that you're suffering from anxiety, then they know maybe to give you a bit of space. People's natural reaction is always going to be to try and help. Even as a red-blooded male myself, I'm a fixer. Let's fix it. What we're going to do? Come on, sit down, talk about it, fix it. Sometimes that isn't what people want. Sometimes people want a wee bit of space, and if you can communicate to the people around about you what you need, how you're feeling, be honest, be open, then I think only good things can come out. So this week's episode is sponsored by sharing openly and honestly with people that are around about you, and hopefully you enjoy this episode as much as we did making it. So hello and welcome to Rebel City Podcast. God knows what episode we're on now. We keep on having this thing where we did the first 15 with like episode 1, episode 2, But no, it's just fucking
episode 26.
Who knows? Who fucking knows? Anyway,
like, like a bingo, like somebody wins, like a kebab. Like if you guess the right number, like a lottery.
Tweet us at the start of the episode.
I'm going for 26.
Going for 26. I don't think we're quite. We should be about 20 maybe by the time this goes out. Anyway, Gary Faulds, how's it going, mate?
It's good, mate. Aye, a bit anxious, but it's the best time to come and do this, isn't it?
Aye. So, I don't know. You could tell me if it's the best time to come and do it, man.
I think when you're speaking about something with experience, you're better to be in that experience. Right now, I'm feeling anxious. Walking down here, I felt anxious. Sitting in the restaurant, I felt like I was at church. And my wife's a Christian, and I go to church, so it was like that's normally my peaceful zone.
Right.
But I walked out and I sat in the corridor, and I was just like, I'm not for this.
No.
Well, I'm in that mentality, and it's like the thing with anxiety is you've got to break away from it. Only you can overcome anxiety.
No, definitely.
You can't read a self-help book. You can't take a tablet. Well, they can give you a tablet to subdue it, but it doesn't better it. You need to be able to, within your mind, take yourself out of that scenario. So I'm going through that process as we speak. I'm trying to shrug it off. You know.
Do you find having a process helps you?
Process definitely. I had anxiety bad 2 years ago, with the point I didn't leave the house, and that was a problem because my veins were getting brought to the house. I wasn't leaving the front door. So my veins were starting to get sick of being in the house all the time, and it's learned behaviour as well. You don't want your children to suffer the same thing you suffer. So I call it the fuck it syndrome. That's something that I got, and I just thought, you know what the fuck's going to happen to me if I leave this house? And it's being ex-military, it's having that aggression just to challenge yourself. And as soon as I walked out the house, I felt fine. So I felt I'm a fucking idiot. I've just sat in a house for 5 or 6 weeks.
That's it,
and all I had to do was cross that threshold, that line, and that's what anxiety is. Anxiety is it's a disease in the mind. You need to be able to overcome it, and that's how the group's good, because like people look at me and go, he's a comedian, he's always happy, he's Jack your lad, and but it's no, that's a mask, that's a job. I just put a hood on or like a helmet as a worker does. It's the same thing, you know what I mean? And it's hard to kind of be that person, but the group's good because I can sit down and go, right boys, I've had an absolute shite week. There's no judgment, there's nobody cracking jokes. It's like, right, but what happened, and we can break it down and together we work. So it's just phenomenal that if MD's not in a group, get in a group, because that's what's going to help you. If you're struggling yourself, sit with the guys with anxiety, because you'll hear things like what we do is we talk about our week, and then we share things that have helped their anxiety. Some of the boys talk about CBD, some of the boys speak about hypnotherapy. I got hypnotherapy at the Harvest Clinic around the corner. That was really good, you know what I mean? But it's when it comes to the shove, you've got to be in your head. You've got to say to yourself, get up, get out.
Aye. I've found that for me, CBD, things like CBD, meditation, I tried hypnotherapy, it didn't go well. I mean,
you woke up like a chicken.
No, the guy basically just dismissed. I went in with a problem, and I went, here's my problem, and the guy went, that's not your problem, I'll get to the bottom of your problem. So basically I told him what was wrong with me.
He tried to overpower you,
and he tried to basically just go, basically what he said to me was, I know better than you, and that isn't actually a problem. And it didn't get off to the best of starts. So then instantly I was just like, fuck this dude, man. I just
and you're meeting aggression.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Like,
the guy that I'd went to, there was a lot of sort of semi-famous football players in his dressing room. So I think he's one of these like performance management,
like a Tony Robbins for anxiety.
Aye, well, for anything.
That kind of no bullshit. Sometimes that can be great, but sometimes that can be the downfall as well.
I'm with you in this. I mean, when I'm anxious, I have experienced bouts of anxiousness in recent weeks. I think confronting it is the best thing, and I always talk quite openly, both on air and off air, about you know how I'm feeling and stuff. And I think that's something that sort of helps me in a big way, is just to go, as you say, just get in its face and go, no more. You know what I mean? So that's something I can definitely relate to in that respect.
There used to be a saying in the army, and it was always take the fight to the enemy. Don't let the enemy come to you. So I've got something I call a war room, and you can do this without Christianity or faith. But what my war room is, it's in my cupboard. Open my cupboard, on the back of it is just biblical, like motivational quotes. So you could just put any motivational quote, but having a bad day, I look at that wall, and it's like, I don't like a boxer will psych himself up. I build myself up, and I had to do that today. Opened the cupboard door, read some of the stuff, and I was like, right, fuck it, let's get amongst this. And I'm half and half now. This morning I was 100% anxious. I probably say I'm 50% now, but it's just in my head overcoming it. Get out, walking's been amazing. That's been a new thing I've tried. I know you probably got the wide angle on the camera, but I've been out walking every day, and it's just
exercise. It's
phenomenal. It was one of the guys in the group who said, some sort of medical journal, he said that walking for 30 minutes can decrease depression and anxiety, and it's fucking so true.
It clears your mind, definitely. It takes you to that sort of bubble where just feeling that pent up, like, how do I get rid of this? How do I get rid of this? And I think when you exercise, it's the same as meditation. It takes you out of that thinking about it, and you're just thinking about what's going on or the fresh air, and I think it definitely removes you. And when you can give yourself a bit of space between you and the actual anxiety, you can like you're saying, you leave the house and you go, wait a minute, there's fucking nothing wrong.
You start to take control.
So, and I've found that anxiety as well is almost I get anxious thinking about being anxious. It's like a vicious cycle. If something happens, this is definitely something I've experienced. If something happens, say for instance, like yourself, it's you've been on holiday and you've been working, been keeping yourself busy, and then all of a sudden that stops. Then I go, I might feel anxious. Then I feel anxious. Then I start going into how do I get rid of this anxiety? When really what happened was I just brought it on myself by going, this is when I usually feel anxious. I'm going to feel anxious here. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like a vicious cycle.
That can be one of your triggers. I always say with the guys, there's a lot of guys come to the group, but they've just experienced anxiety, where they think they're having heart attacks. We've all been there. Chest pains in your arm, your head's just getting right inside you. And I always say to the guys, get a diary and write down, every time you feel anxious, write down the previous hour before that, if you can. Yeah. So the guys will come back to next week and they'll be like, right, every time, I don't know, my wife nags at me, I'll say, well, that's your trigger. You need to, that's as important as anxiety.
That's definitely a trigger.
Is you find the trigger. Because I get like that. And the moment I addressed that, my wife, she would give me grief. I'm quite messy, even though I was in the army. But it would annoy her and it would cause confrontation. Instead of just saying, Gary, going to pick that up, please, she would kick off and then I'd be anxious and I'd want to run away and stuff like that. But as soon as I identified my trigger, I went to her and says, listen, going to just say, is Gary just going to pick that up? And see in my house, because we've created that support environment, my house is perfect. But it's when I come outside and social media is a big killer for me.
What you're doing there, I think, is creating the best environment for you to get better. I think sometimes that is, people always say, why is talking such a big deal, or why is sharing such a big deal? Like sharing with your girlfriend, sharing with your wife. And it's because you're giving them that awareness of how you're feeling so that they can maybe adjust some of their behaviour if it's causing it, like you're
support
saying.
You. People need to know what you're going through. It's the number one thing I'd say if you're coming to my anxiety group. It's one of the things, the trigger, and then it'll be that. It'll be like, you need to tell people in your immediate home that you've got anxiety and this is how you might react. Because otherwise people are just going to think, what the fuck's wrong with him? He's got anger problems, and really you're crying out for help. But my big thing used to be with somebody be like, you alright? No, I would be like anxious, or I would go a bit quiet. You alright? You alright? You wait? You fine? And I'd be like in my head, I'm going to fucking die.
There becomes a pressure associated with that.
Because you think, I'm alright, am I white? And you're looking in the mirror going, am I fucking white? But when I told my wife about that, she doesn't even say that now. She knows I'm anxious, my body language. She'll say, go for a wee nap, 10-minute nap, and I'm back in the game. But people need to know that you're going through. You don't need to put it on social media and say, I've got anxiety. But tell people in your immediate life so that people can accommodate you.
What kind of reaction have you had? Because looking through a couple of Daily Record, Evening Times articles, and looking through your Facebook page, I'd seen that you've been open about your mental health experiences. What kind of reactions have you had? Has it been, I mean, you can't expect it to be all positive, but has it been mainly positive?
Mainly a lot of support people. A lot of kind of people in my life didn't know I had it, which was nice. So like mates, my normal mates, not my comedian mates, who used to invite me out. And my big thing with anxiety was, I would say I was going somewhere and I knew for a fact I wasn't going to go. But I would still commit to the date. But I knew I was going to cancel it. So my mates always felt let down. Like, what the fuck's he like? On my mates' weddings, I was one of the ushers. Didn't turn up. Didn't tell him I wasn't going. Just decided that I was going to turn off my phone and hide away. And that created a big problem. So he kind of seen the side of it and he went, identify what you were going through. And then you get your mixed, you're obviously the dickheads in social media. People are saying you've just got shite bag syndrome and stuff like that. And
unavoidable.
You can't, especially in my position now that I can't just, it's no Facebook. I can't just block them because I'm kind of, my name's out there a wee bit now. They can find me for everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, and I was getting annoyed this morning because I'm looking at Lee Griffiths. Now I'm a Rangers fan and I totally want to support that guy. The fucking absolute
I seen your post this morning.
And it completely rattled me because that's a guy who's a high profile sportsman. He's come out and says, I've got mental health. He plays football. I mean, that must be his absolute dream what he does. So see if a guy who's living his dream has to stop doing his dream because his mental health. Yet the media are shutting him down and saying he's taking drugs, he's got a gambling addiction.
Following him about.
It's terrible, and this is why men don't speak.
Yeah.
And this is a prime example why men will never speak about their problems because of people like this. You know what I mean? So I think that's a big thing, and I'm obviously everybody's like, "Oh, you one of them?" I think I'm a Celtic fan, but it's like, no, I'm just supporting another guy.
That's one.
Aye.
It's another fucking human being that's
It's another
struggling,
human being,
you know what
mate.
I mean?
Take the tap off, and all right, at a football game,
There's
I'll be
banter.
shouting, you're shouting.
Aye, whatever, aye, totally.
Bad game, but this guy's came out and cried for help, and people speculate he's a fucking gambling addict. And if it's a shame because people are gambling addicts, are people that take drugs. They won't want to speak about it because of the atmosphere. And
Look at the reaction when
That's
they're
it.
leaving on the
Aye.
table.
Aye, I don't get that whole idea. I mean, I've been back at uni recently, part of like my sort of struggling with mental health. I decided to just get back into uni and learning because I'd stopped learning for like 12, 15 years. That's been part of what's made me feel better about myself is actually like learning again. And learning a lot about addiction and how it starts. Even if he was a drug addict, even if he was a gambling addict, and he is out there gambling, that doesn't mean to say that the guy's a piece of shit or that he doesn't deserve your support.
No,
In fact,
exactly.
he deserves more support if he can't get to grips with this addiction. Like some of the reactions to Lee Griffiths' mental health cry for help or whatever you want to call it has been really perplexing to me. Like,
I mean,
don't get it.
It's somebody we should be
sickening,
holding up and saying like, this is how a man, you know, the sports personality, whatever. This is how you should
Conduct yourself,
in these scenarios. Like they should be saying, this guy's an example of how to address your issues head on. No, oh look at him, he's at a bookies. You know what I mean? Like phoning him about, and it's the opposite of what we should be doing. I think. To be honest with you,
I agree. I think he should get himself off social media. If I'm being honest,
at least take a break, maybe.
he does too much back and forth with people. It's people insult him and he'll go back and insult them, and it's backwards and forwards. And it's Rangers fans. If he was a Rangers player, it would be Celtic fans. It doesn't matter what side of the divide he's lying on. It would be the exact same. I've got no doubt about it. But I think the guy should disconnect himself for a while and let himself. I don't know what his issue is. I mean, they haven't really said much.
Aye,
Aye.
Like,
Try
what
to
it
leave him a
actually
bit of
is.
dignity. You know what I mean? Like,
But it's
when he said that tweets my mental health, I think that was him just firing
This
the cannon
morning,
and
aye.
saying,
yeah, that it's mental health
this
issues.
is what it is. You don't need, we shouldn't need to pry into his life and ask him. And
no.
It's true.
even though he's a Celtic, but he's a man. He's got a life. He's got a family. Like,
I've
look
seen
at
Celtic
us.
fans out there, mate. There's a Celtic fan that I seen out there that was saying that because he was at Easter Road watching the Hearts Hibs game with a smile on his face, that's a disgrace because he's taking thousands a week off of Celtic sitting in his arse doing nothing. And you're like, do you know, you've got no fucking idea what mental health issues or
isn't
what
it?
it's like to live with a mental health, mental illness, because you will go places, you will have moments of sort of happiness when you're watching. I mean, he's in, like you're saying, he loves football. He's in a football game. He supports Hibs. He's with your pal. Of course, he's going to be happy
Aye.
and smiling.
That could be
do you
his
know what I mean?
downtime, a bit of morale.
Exactly.
And you look at me, I'm a prime example of that. I'm a stand-up comedian. I mean, if I'm having a fucking terrible day or a shite day or a terrible month, I go on that stage, mate, and I'm the happiest person in the room.
Aye.
I'm the most confident person in the room, but see inside, I'm dying.
Yeah.
And I come off that stage and I burst into tears. And it
quite-
happens a lot.
Quite common for stand-ups to struggle and use their art as a means to address like mental health and anxiety and
That's it.
stuff
I think
like
a lot
that.
of people hide behind it as well.
Yeah.
I think that's the big thing when I got involved in the man's group and I thought I'm going to set this up is because I wanted to be seen, obviously as a comedian, and people know I'm a good comedian and come to my shows, but I want to be seen as ambassador to help men because I
Yeah.
felt like that. If I phone my mate and says, "Here, mate, I've got anxiety," he'd probably say to me, "Fucking man up, go and get a pint,
Yeah.
get at it." That body language and that chat, and that's how I set up the man's group because I thought it'd be good to have an environment where guys. I mean, there's guys in this group that are ex-police. There's guys that are still police. There's guys ex-special forces in the group. A guy that's a professional wrestler. So if you tag the line with the shite bag syndrome or anything like that, come and sit in my group and sit with the guys in this group.
Yeah.
It's no shite bag syndrome. It's
No.
people have got an issue, and for women it's easy to speak about. But I feel like men, people say, "Why do you not sit with a women's group?" And it's
Yeah.
like, because I'm not a woman.
Aye.
Yeah.
It's what about it, isn't it? It's
Aye,
almost like
it's
trying to make it
boundaries,
something
aye.
that it's no, bringing it into a sort of gender argument and like,
That's
why
a big
only
thing I
men?
get.
Why only men? And it's like, well, unfortunately for men, there's plenty of places out there that women can go to, and we don't speak to our pals.
And I've always says in the podcast and interviews that I've done before, see if there's a woman out there who wants a hand to set up a group, I would absolutely love to do that.
Yeah.
But the sensitive stuff that gets spoke about at the groups, I mean, I'm in a group full of guys, and
Yeah.
even at that, sometimes you'd be uncomfortable because you're listening to somebody's tragedy, and you obviously you feel sorry for them. But I could never imagine doing that with women in the room who wouldn't feel comfortable sharing in front of a guy. So that's why it's a men's group.
Yeah,
because
of
my
course.
man. But if there's a woman out there, give me a phone.
I think it's
And I
something
fund
that
it.
we need to see, Mary, because I think we were talking in a recent episode about even having, like yourself and Burmillock and other guys up in Steps and stuff like that, having these men's groups in like the pure deep East End of Glasgow, like that is not the East End that I remember growing up in. Like that was, there just was no support structure for men whatsoever. And I think that as we're starting to see these things become more and more sort of prominent, like they're instantly proving how they're worth, if you follow me. And that change is something that I think needs to continue. You know what I mean?
That's my passion. I believe this group I've set up is going to become a hill walking group in 2 weeks' time. So the boys will meet at 6 a.m. on a Saturday, and they'll all go hill walking, and they'll all chat to each other and day walking, because obviously that's a big thing.
Yeah.
And I'll give that to one of the big guys called Kai. A couple of them will take it on, and I'll go start another group in the East End or the South Side.
Right.
And I'll just keep doing that, growing groups, starting it, and leaving it to one of the guys. And that's my passion, is to get as many groups. I can't do it myself.
No.
Of course not.
You know what I mean? There's charities out there that are getting funding and all doing fuck all.
Yeah.
Well,
And I'm not going to start calling them out, but there's a lot. I'll look at it. Oh, somebody with mental health and somebody. I'm in that sector now. My group costs me a £5 a week, and
To
it
book a
helps.
hole.
And it helps up to 25 guys.
Yeah.
There's charities that are getting 25-30 million £, and
It's
they're
all
just
going
putting
in
adverts to fucking telly.
Aye, CEO salaries and all the rest
So
of it.
there has to
aye.
be a readjustment of this. It's not something you're not going to help write in a book. People have to get on the ground. There's councils out there that haven't got a job. There's people out there that's qualified in this environment, where they're working in Tesco. We need to get these people back out and get them.
Yeah.
100%, man.
Definitely.
When you've got a 6 to 8 week, sometimes 14-week wait to speak to a qualified person in the NHS, and there's people that have got diplomas in counselling sitting working in, like you're saying, working in Tesco. Not taking away from anybody that works in Tesco, but you've got a value. You've got to go out there
Yeah.
and people. You've got the skills
skill, aye.
to actually listen to people, and that's what people need. Is like you're saying, you're seeing helping 25 guys just be sitting down and giving them a platform, setting up a platform for them to come in and communicate with each other.
And I'm not a trained counsellor, so can you imagine if I had a qualification in that environment? That would be fucking incredible.
Yeah.
All we do is share and help each other. Imagine there was a trained person in that room who could identify a problem and who could see suicide. I'm not trained in suicide.
Yeah.
There's some guys that will come in and say I'm going to do it. There's some guys that won't. But there's probably body languages that could help the guys.
Aye.
Oh, definitely. And this is part of what I've got a bit of a conflict happening just now, because I work in retail, and it means that I don't have any set shifts. And I've got a qualification in counselling. I've got the COSCA counselling skills, which is like the industry standard counselling certificate. And I would love to actually set up a group, but I don't have the consistency and work to be like every Saturday I'm going to go and do this thing, which is something that I'm actually like struggling with a wee bit, because I feel that pool would be like, I need to set something up and help people here.
What I do is that my group's set up. It's an easy group to run. We might do it a bit different, but obviously me being a comedian, I gig that was away that Saturday. So the group runs itself. So I just picked 3 or 4 guys within the group that I could feel that could handle that pressure to run the group in the day. The freedom between them, just kind of go, right, I'll do it this Saturday.
Yeah.
And it's but I'm there most of the time. But if you could do that, if you could be there once a month, it'd still help. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Aye,
and I would happily help you with anything.
We can talk about that, I
Aye.
suppose, once
Another
we're
time,
done with
aye,
the
but
interview,
anything I could help.
Aye, I've definitely had that. It's been something that's been cropping up where I thought I should do something, and then every week it's 2 thoughts, 3 thoughts, and then it's every day I'm thinking about it, thinking I should maybe try and do something here. But I've got experience in addiction and recovery, and that's what made me go and do the study. Like,
There's a
mental
lot of
health
that.
and
I've noticed that in the
counselling
group.
skills.
There's a lot of guys that come through with gambling addictions or alcohol and drug addictions.
Yeah.
Then they're at a point in their life where they're like, right, I'm better now. How am I not feeling better? So it'd be good to have somebody like you who could say, right,
So, going back to what Matt was saying a wee minute ago, we're both East End. Like I grew up in Carntine, Matt grew up in Rudry.
I went to school in Whitehill.
Oh, did you?
Oh, right, aye.
I fought for Haghill. That was
right.
my gang.
Powdery. I was Gaucho, mate. So
Oh, yeah, I'd have terrorised you probably.
three
not me.
times.
Three times.
3 times.
I went to one gang fight, got chased, and I went back.
Mine was half brick to the head.
Oh, really?
I
Aye.
was stunning down about my Carntine back when it was the tenements, and somebody shouted, watch out, turned on the half brick, smacked me in the head and was like, no.
That's not playing.
Before that,
games a bogey.
it was a game of tag.
That's it.
We were running up and down Hogarth Park, just like, you chase us, and it was like fun, almost looking at my mates, like, this is fucking, so I'm laughing and get smacked up a brick, and I was like, nah, I'm out, man.
Too violent.
I'm out. How much do you think the traditional East End upbringing has a part to play in sort of like anxiety? And
I think it's Scottish upbringing. I don't think it's an East End. I think it's just we're a tough nation. We're a tough body of men, and I think it's everything's learned behaviour. I mean, you look at that's how I try and be open, so that my kids can see that. I know that.
Yep.
My kids have got an issue to speak about it. Now, I didn't see my dad, but my stepdad was really good. But I could never have went to him and says, I've got mental health issues, because he wouldn't understand it because he's such a tough guy. But was he? Or was he struggling? And so
he might have understood you.
That's it, mate.
You know what I mean?
You just assume that, and it's that assumption that's dangerous in our environment, in our society, because we just assume that somebody won't take us. So I think the way society's became now, we're all being more open, we've been more outspoken. I think it's great because you're better speaking about something than holding it in. And it sets a standard for everybody else.
I think I was going
to say, I think it actually even has like that sort of retrospective thing as well, because I said to you that when we started this podcast, my dad's 72 years old. I remember growing up and him having days where he was going, I'm scunnered. That was his telling, I'm scunnered. And it, I'm taking a photo, take a day off work. And that was a pretty regular occurrence when he could do it. And it never occurred to me until I run into mental health issues that was depression or anxiety as I experienced it. But when we started talking about it, he actually went, do you know what, I've had that. That's been me all the years, and that was like the first time at like 72 years old, just because we were talking about it, that he actually went, do you know what? That actually resonates with me as well. So I think although there are like generational shifts that we're talking about here, I think the openness we've got now can actually feed back to these harder men for, a different era.
They used to wait at the pub, didn't they?
Aye.
You could just, and that's where addiction comes in, I think, with anxiety. Because I used to be like that, I'd go out and have a couple of fucking beers.
But Bookie's next door.
It was 2-3 beers a night, and then it was becoming to the point when I was like, it's not even meant a dent.
Aye.
4 beers, 5 beers, and I stopped it at that point. But you can see where that comes from. There's always guys that are having a shite there, let's go to the pub, and drown their sorrows and forget about it. So it's good now that we can address it, openly address it.
A bit of my health as well.
That's it. You're encouraged to address it now, I think. That's the good thing.
Part of my fear, especially with like the last sort of year or two, is this whole sort of like idea of people like, well, maybe we should hit our kids, and because that was my thing. See, when I've went into it and try to understand myself a wee bit, I was petrified of my dad. I was absolutely petrified. Like if I heard his voice and it was in any sort of aggressive manner, I absolutely shat myself. And so I was never abused physically, but I think that there was the way that we've traditionally brought kids up has had an element of emotional abuse in it, and sort of scaring your kids. And
maybe we would call it now. No, then.
There was no awareness there. That wasn't deliberately done. It was just how
you got your ass scalped.
They knew how to do it. And then after that, I mean, the threat of my dad lifting his hand to me was enough for me to be like, no, absolutely not. And now we're starting to see this sort of thinking about where it's like that. Look at this sort of culture of snowflakes that we've raised by getting participation medals and whatever it is, and we need to go back to this older way when your wains were absolutely shit scared of you. I don't think we should be going back to that.
When sausage rolls weren't vegan.
Well, that's
don't start with that, man. I've been getting heavy abuse from the vegans. Did you see that?
I seen you tweet about it, but I didn't see any
responses. I called vegans Caldwell virgins, and I regretted that instantly. I landed in the plane, it was just this funny abuse, and I was like, well, they've won this one.
Right, okay.
So I just put vegans man, Gary.
It's been the general chat across all social media the last day or so, but I know.
I think the most hilarious one was the EDL saying that was leftist, vegan, like whatever they call them. There's no associating communism with veganism. I don't get it. Don't understand. But I genuinely, I make a connection between the state that I was in. I don't mean state as in like you're in a state, as in just the way I was when I was a child in the developing years, and how I developed this instant fear reaction to stuff because I was genuinely petrified of my mum and dad. Like I hated getting shouted at, and it was screaming, and I can feel it as I'm talking about it. Do you know what I mean? I can feel my palms getting sweaty. So my you're talking about learned behaviour. My natural way of being was scared, and so as I've grew up, when any adversities come into my life, I've just reacted with fear, and that sort of gut wrenching fear, or like I might die here, like this sort of to anything.
I'm going to get hot.
To absolutely anything. I'm talking like money troubles. I feel like I'm going to get hurt, and that's where my anxieties came from, and that panic, like that sort of panic response. So I link it back to the way I was brought up, and that sort of man up culture, and this sort of idea that it was unacceptable for me to cry in front of my dad, and it was unacceptable for me to be other than a football player or fighting. You know what I mean? Like
I remember getting a slap in the back of the head for greeting at my granny's funeral.
Aye.
Guy. At 12 or 13, it was one of the funny slaps, but it wasn't funny because it was even though the person was laughing.
Aye.
I always think about that. I wasn't allowed to greet my granny's funeral.
That's a weird one.
Like,
It's
slap,
odd.
like, can I stop greeting you?
It's a kind of thing like language. I don't know. The missus was watching our Christmas and New Year, all the episodes of Only Fools and Horses, howling and laughing, and I'm going, you can't still find that funny this many years later. And she's going, it's not that it's funny, it's that you couldn't make this now. And I'm going, well, how's it going? Because it's a totally different language. Like the way they talk about corner shops and takeaways, it's East London, it's the 80s, you know what I mean? Like a lot of what we now qualify, like you say.
Racism.
Aye, but you're saying like we have that thing now there where there's maybe that emotional abuse, but that's because that's how we qualify it now. It's no how we qualified it then. There's that kind of similar thing where we've now moved to a place where it's different now. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know if it is though. This is what I think that there's still a huge section of society that still thinks that that's how you bring your wins up.
Aye.
Is that there's nothing wrong with giving them a slap. And I've always sort of struggled with people that have, because I even thought that even a couple of years ago, where it was like giving your wins a wee slap in the arse. It doesn't do anything to
I've
them.
never raised my hand to the way, never.
But it's been in this recovery process that I've started to realise, wait a minute, that's my whole thing. This has been my whole fucking deal, is that I get hit a wee bit, but ultimately I was petrified through my childhood.
You didn't love your man, dad? You were scared of them?
Aye, definitely. I didn't feel like they loved me, I think, which was part of like, because it's all about me. It's not about them. It's about me and how I've reacted and how I feel. And it wasn't that I didn't love them. I loved them. Like, I love my mum and dad. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely no question about that. I didn't feel like they loved me. And so that's meant that I feel unworthy. So I've struggled with my relationships with women because I don't feel like I deserve love, and I've not received that as a child.
But if you get any
that's
love
my
that scares
story.
you,
And
it's like a flashbang.
any time it's come up and somebody's genuinely showed interest in me, I've sabotaged it, either through behaviour or just running away from it. Just absolutely petrified.
I've been at my marriage I've been going through a big process the last 3 years. It's like me and Ash were having a fight. I would just get up and walk out the house and leave. I'd leave my wains, stay my mas, and I'd burn my mas, and I'm like, I'm better now, I feel better. And when really I was kind of like, I'm not addressing the situation.
You're out the confrontation.
I'm running away from my problems. So now I'm back home, and it's like, we have a fight now, we sit down, we speak about it. There's a better process.
Yep.
But I was like that. My man and dad would just argue and split up. They always had 2 houses. So that was my learned behaviour. I was just going, I'm just fucking running away. But I don't realise the Waynes are getting affected by that. Because the Waynes are having to grieve their daddy leaving the house.
Yeah.
Every weekend we have a fight, and it was like, it got to the point when I thought, you know what? I'm probably damaging my Waynes by my behaviour. And that's my big thing, with anxiety.
Pretty sobering thought, man.
You need to challenge it, because it's not about me. It's just saying your man dad, you felt like there was no, you loved them.
Aye.
But you felt like every time you fucking breathed, they'd be shouting and bawling at you.
Aye, definitely.
So
I
that's
felt
what
like
I
my
got
dad was my
to feel.
hero. My dad was my hero, and I felt like I wasn't good enough for him because he was always, don't be an idiot. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that I'll tell you the one that I've had a few therapy sessions, and the one that stuck in my mind where it was like a breakthrough was he said to me one time, if I was born the same age as you, I'd have bullied you. And I think I was 9. And I was like, all right, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
No, really, actually, like was like, I need to be tougher. I need to be a bigger man. To
It just
like,
didn't have the language
But
to
you could
explain
see
it to
that
you.
as a threat, couldn't you?
Yeah.
but it was a
If
threat.
my dad was 9, he'd batter me.
Aye, exactly. Because that's what he was saying to me, was that I would physically harm you if I was the same age as you, but I'm too old to do it, so I'm not going to do it. Do you know what I mean? You're in da. It's just so. I take everything back to that. I take everything back to that upbringing, and that East End sort of mentality. Getting made to go out the house. There was another time that had come up when I was getting therapy that was a guy had threatened me outside the house, and my fear response kicked in, because that's the way I
ran
responded,
away.
and I ran into
Naturally.
the house. My dad dragged me out, made me beat the shit out of a guy, because I was always tall, was always big, but I never really had the mentality to like get into fights, so I'd always like shy away from them. But he made me fight this guy, made me beat the shit out of this guy, and it's always something that I always think about, even though I've spoke to people about it and they're like, "Aye, but you won the fight." And I was like, "Aye, but I lost the fucking
point.
war." Like,
You lost the battle, well and truly.
exactly. Like, I
Your natural
didn't want-
instincts were right.
Exactly. I should have just walked away from the fight, but get forced to get back into it and be a man. And you're like, I think at that point I was 11. Do you know what I mean? So this is where I take everything back to. And I think that when you talk to people, you always find that their ideas and their beliefs and their behaviours are built up for something that's been learned when
Before
they're a
that.
child,
Yeah.
when they were developing and where
And these
all that
things hold on to
comes
you as
from.
well. I got bullied at school off a guy, and I seen him about 4 years ago. Longer than that. I just came out the army, and I was in Tesco, and the guy bullied me, and it wasn't, he didn't touch me or anything. He just bullied me, just slagged
Yeah.
me and threw stones at me, and made sure that I couldn't be involved in the crowd when he was there. So I was genuinely terrified of the person for most of my childhood. And I seen him in Tesco one day, and I went and got a bottle of vodka. I was going to fuck it out of the back of his head. But it was a full scale junkie, and I was like, somebody said something a few months ago, and it triggered about how I felt about that guy. Hurt people.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I remember following him at Tesco. He didn't know how clue who I was. I'm a bigger boy now, just at the army. But I was generally going to smash a bottle of vodka out of the back of his
Wow.
head. And I followed him for 20 minutes. And I'm like, I'm going to maul this fucking dafty.
Aye.
Because I'd changed. As a wee boy, I was nice and placid, and I didn't like fighting. And But now I had all this anger inside me. And I remember feeling like, see if I hit him with this, and I'm just as bad as him.
Yeah.
If I lift my horns to this guy, I've became him. I became the monster that he was to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just walked away. But I remember feeling like a coward, and it wrestled me for days. I was like, I should go and find him again, go back to Shelters and see where he stays. And it's fucking evil.
It's a toxic chain
Oh,
of thought,
it's
isn't it?
toxic, man. And you know what it's like with anxiety?
Yeah.
If it's 10 times.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it's I've changed as a person a lot through church and through my wife. Like, I'm glad we're on now. But I became a right bad person, and I think that was because my mental health got on top of me. And it was just creating a fucking monster because I wasn't dealing with it.
Aye.
So in terms of your mental health, like, is this something that's been with you all your life? Is this something that is...
I don't know. It creeped up when I came out the army. I had a panic attack, and then everything just fucking shitballed and rolled downhill.
And this,
But when
were
I think
you-
about my childhood, I had a lot of trauma. I had a loving man dad.
Yeah.
My real dad's fucking, he left us, didn't come back, but my stepdad covered that. He was a great guy and he was encouraging, and but my mum and stepdad had a toxic relationship. So when I look back at my learned behaviour, the way I behave, it's like I identified how they two behaved.
Yeah.
Even though they were loving and they were great, and we would go one week we'd be through at the house, we'd been fucking Sight Hill, just slumming it, and then the next week we'd be back together again, we'd been in Florida.
Yeah.
So when you think about it like that, it's kind of fucked up a wee bit with the two differences,
Yeah.
the balance of your life.
Aye.
Getting left at my nana's all the time, sitting. I just when you look back in no days that was fine. You got left with your granny for 5-6 days at a time, but she's a wee boy. I like my mammy.
Yeah.
I love my ma, you know what I mean? But I felt like you, just pushed away all the time. So as somebody who's dealing with anxiety and as an ambassador to it, I've got to fix myself. So the more I think about my past, I'm like, wait a minute, this has been a problem that's came well before the army.
The deeper you go, the more you
Aye.
find. Aye. And like, I mean, for me personally, I was saying to you before we sort of started recording that I had a bout of anxiety recently that kept me at work for about 4 or 5 days now. I don't have, a particularly high pressure stress job or anything like that. I can't imagine what it'd be like to try and manage anxiety whilst sort of serving. Is that something that took you out of the army, or is it just
I didn't have it in the army.
No, just as
Never had
afterwards,
fucking time.
right.
Aye, it was after I came out the army, it came. I was in Thailand with my pal, and we were just boozing for about fucking 8 days solid. And I remember I had a chest pain, and I'm like to him, I was taking drugs as well, but I said to him, mate, I'm having a fucking heart attack. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, I have chest pains and all that, and I was
Aye.
starting to sweat. I couldn't breathe. In Thailand, you can buy stuff at the chemist. You can buy fucking anything.
Out you want. Aye.
A prosthetic leg, you know what I mean? Buy it, you man. And I bought I said to the woman, I'm struggling to breathe. You any asthma inhalers? Gave her an inhaler, puff, puff, puff. No happening, you know what I mean? Still couldn't breathe, and I'm like, I'm having a heart attack, anxious to talk about it. And we went to the Bangkok hospital, and I'm saying to the doctor, listen, I'm having a fucking heart attack. He said, how did you get here? I said, I ran. He went, you ran 2 miles, and you think you're having a heart
you're not
attack?
having a heart attack.
Aye, well,
Aye.
that's it. And I'm like, fucking I'm telling you now. Chest pains, pins down my arm, can't breathe. Does the ECG, your heart's completely fine, it's racing. does the chest X-ray. You've got indigestion,
Oof.
and that was obviously
So that was it.
Indigestion created that whole panic, and see, because I experienced that panic, it never left me.
Right.
So the anxiety creeped in me, I know, and then it just became a big fucking tower of shite. You know what I mean? That I've had to crack away at and lower as I go along. But it's insane that was that moment, mate. Just too much booze and drugs.
Yeah, I think it's funny as well.
It could have killed me because I wanted to fucking hang myself. You know what I mean? I remember I came back home and I was like, I'm not living like this. It wasn't shifting.
Yeah,
I'm like, I just want to kill myself now.
so need to do something about it.
Just didn't want to do it.
Did any of your experiences in the forces
Nothing at all,
compound
mate.
it,
No,
or
nothing at all.
enjoyed your time when you were
Enjoyed
there?
my time in the army, aye. My dad had, my stepdad, I said that, I mean him, he had bowel cancer and he died. He didn't drink, he didn't smoke. He was a fucking powerfully strong man. Played golf 5 days a week. So I think it was the trauma of him dying that set it off. And then I think all the stuff just creeped in, slice by slice. And the more I thought about my life, the more stuff fucking. So it was the trauma of losing him, because when I quit the army, I worked for him. I watched him die as well. You know what I mean? So if you love somebody so much, and I did, man, and I grieve when I think about him, but it's just when you love somebody so much and you spend your whole life with him. And he was my hero. He wasn't my real dad, but he stepped in and treated me like his son. So to lose him, it was a big part of it. But obviously, when I identified that trauma, all the other stuff came up. I thought my past, and you know what I mean. But
It's just been that. We spoke to somebody else about this, but this is something that I've been learning about. So anxiety is almost like a bucket, and if the more tiny wee anxieties go in, you don't resolve them. Just builds up. Then all of a sudden, something big or small can happen. It doesn't need to necessarily be a huge event like the passing of a close relative, but one thing breaks the camel's back, and then it's just the bucket just spills out everywhere.
well, it's everywhere.
Yeah, and I think that's what you've probably that's what I experienced as well. Mine was addiction, and the addiction like destroying a relationship, and that's what caused was the straw that broke my anxiety's back. But then everything else just followed it. Just everything that took me to that place. It was almost like a domino thing that happened. Like you're saying, the thoughts of past relationships and experiences as a teenager, times when people have mugged me off and I've not done anything about it, sitting in my bed just going ruining my head, and it just causing this like fire burning in my belly almost. And like you're saying, sometimes thoughts take him and you're just like, if I can't get rid of this, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I think that is, we've spoke to a guy that Dan Proverbs that works with male suicide, and he says that it's impulsive and it happens in the moment. Like, I'm just going to do this, and that scared me, because I was thinking I've had thoughts, and to think that one time I've had the thoughts, I might have just acted on it, might have just went, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do this. Actually scared the life out of me, man, just thinking about that. Do you know what I mean? And that was one of the, I mean, that was what, 3 months ago, something like 4 months ago. That was something that I took a lot for, where I was like, I need to start evaluating everything to make sure that I've not leaving any stone unturned here, like with myself, so that I don't end up in that place again where I'm sitting thinking, how do I get control of this, and feeling helpless. Do you know what I mean?
I had a thing, and sorry mate,
No,
it was after my Glasgow show at the SSE, we'd all went out, had a drink. I hadn't been feeling good the week before it, just feeling shit. My mental health wasn't great. I had 2 shows in the one day. I'm not sure there, but that's fine. I had 2 shows in the one day. One show in 1 week's hard enough for me. So to have 2 in the one day was just, I felt like I was getting crushed, you know what I mean? But out and drank, as you do, when you drink with anxiety, things become worse and worse. And then I remember you're talking about an impulse. Me and my wife had an argument. I ran away, physically ran away. And I was like, I'm fucking sick of this. Ended up in the motorway, right for myself in front of a motor. And I just remember looking up, and the both sides of the motorway was just fucking covered in police. I took back to my ma's house. Police was like, the boy's been fun. I was drunk. The boy's been found on the motorway, and I remember, and the next day I was like, Mama, just because I was drunk, I was fucking trying to have a shortcut. I physically remember thinking, throw yourself. And I was walking, and I was like, I'm just going to throw my... And that's when I knew recently that I've had an issue, because I'm at the height of my career. My life's amazing. I've got money that I've never had before, and my family's great, and still, because I wasn't addressing a certain problem, the impulse is so dangerous. Because with anxiety, it's no, somebody who's not got anxiety, well, when they get angry, they'll go from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. And with me, it's 0 to 100. Not that I'm aggressive. I'll never lift my hands to anybody. but it's just in my mentality, the impulse in my head. It's like, even I kind of stand at a train station and I'm having a shit day. I've got that. I'm just going to fucking throw myself right, and that's not healthy, and that's what I'm trying to deal with now.
Yeah.
I genuinely can't. If I'm having a bad day, I won't get a train. And it's no bullshit in front of a camera or try to dramatise it.
Absolutely not.
I genuinely can't trust myself.
I think sometimes
I've got that impulse where I'm like, I'm just going to fucking go.
Those intrusive thoughts are definitely something that I've had experiences myself, so I can relate to what you're saying. I mean, I find that I've struggled most, ironically, when I've tried to consciously confront what's going on with me. It's almost as if it fights back against you sometimes, and kind of similar to yourself, there was a time I was actually on my way to the GPs to start a course of antidepressants, and I was crossing the bridge at Royston Road going towards Proven Mill Road, and I found myself mentally, I was still walking to the doctor, but physically I was standing over this motorway bridge looking down, and it was like almost 30 seconds before my brain and body were back in the same place. And I was like, I could have done something there and not even been aware that I was like 200 yards outside my front door. You know what I mean? Like, so as you say, that disconnect and that kind of like urge, that intrusive thought is something that isn't bullshit, because it's exactly what I've experienced myself in the past as well. You know what I mean?
I think it's a good thing that you've got the awareness to know that if you've got the awareness that you're having a bad day, because a lot of people, especially like myself and a lot of people that I've spoke to, it's almost like they've been living with anxiety, but they don't know they're anxious. It's just they're like, that was just the way I was. And then somebody had said, it described anxiety. So this is what happened to me. Somebody described their own experience with anxiety, and I was like to myself, holy shit, that's just pretty much just described who I am. And that's how I feel, but I feel like I'm normal. This is just my normal way of being, is in this sort of like pent up ball and just worried about everything. I just thought that this is what it was to be an adult. And do you know what I mean? Like you're saying, telling myself, you need to man up here. Like this is what life is.
Shake it off.
Do you know what I mean? The one story that stuck with me was the one that Dan told us, where the guy had threw himself off the Kingston Bridge or something like that, and he survived. And he said that the first thought that went through his head as soon as he jumped was, I don't want to die. And I was like, fuck. Can you imagine if that's what your last sort of bit is?
Is I'm making a mistake
is
here?
I've made a mistake and there's no way of getting back. So that story, for me, I don't know if it helps anybody else, but that has always been something that takes the edge off of the thoughts for me, because I've always thought I really do want to live. And changing that sort of impulsive thought into an opportunity for me to sit down and really solidify why I want to be alive. Do you know what I mean? So I think stories like that are really important. Stories like you've just told as well, Gary. Like I think it's really important for people to hear that, because the amount of people that have come up to me since we've started doing this podcast and saying, sitting listening to somebody else describe how I'm feeling has done me nothing but the world of good. And made me talk to somebody else, and even if it's only one or two people, I'm fucking more than happy with that. Do you know what I mean?
I've seen guys at the group who've came into the group with shells, just kind of fragile and scared, and some of these guys now are just confident, and it's just you just sharing your problem. It's fucking powerful. And that's why the group's good. A lot of the guys will say it's good that we've got the group. I don't, even though I set up the group and I open the group, I don't see myself as running the group. It's like yesterday I said to Big Kai, my best pal, I met this guy through the group. It's just fucking absolute bromance, you know what I mean? If me and my wife split up, I'm going to marry him, mate. It's fucking, honestly, I love the guy to death. But it's like, I said to Kyle, you start, mate, because when Kai came in, he didn't feel as confident, but now he's just a powerful guy, man. And I don't mean powerful, he's a big man manning up. When he speaks, you're listening to him, you know what I mean? He's such a good communicator. And it's like, I love him starting the group now, because it's like, I get motivation and encouragement off of him, even though I start the group. And it's like, oh, Gary's it. And it's like, I'm looking at him, because I'm like, it's truth, mate. It's just the way he speaks, and it's just like, you know what, identify it. And the good thing with the group is like, as it goes round the group, you kind of see guys going, shaking their head, and you just know they're identifying it's something that's getting said. So a lot of things with anxiety is, if you've not got any pulse, you've not got it, you don't know what's normal and what's not normal. Like we've just all sat and spoke about suicide, but when they speak about that in the pub to a pal, because a pub would go, you need to get a fucking help, you need to get sectioned, there's something wrong with you. But to us, we all go, I feel like that and on. So that's why the group, the sharing factor, is so powerful.
I mean, what was it that first inspired you to then create the group? I mean,
I went to get help. I was going to kill myself.
Just
I
that.
went to the doctor's. I was right. There's that intuition where you're going to jump, but I remember starting to plan it in my head, starting to think about writing notes and leaving videos for the veins and building money up and doing it.
Right.
And I thought, you know what, I'm not fucking doing this to my family. And I went to the doctors and I says, listen, I don't want antidepressants. I don't like them. I don't like them. They subdue me. I don't know how, if they help you, take them, because they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
But I'm totally against it. For me, as a person, like, it makes me feel groggy and feel worse. So I said to the doctor, I want to speak to somebody. And he's like, right, it's 12 weeks to an assessment. And I'm like, all right, is the assessment? And he went, no, after assessment, there's a waiting list as well. So the assessment is just to get you assessed.
Yeah.
But I already know I've got fucking anxiety. I'm totally killing myself, you know what I mean? So
if you're in crisis, 12
it's
weeks isn't
bonkers.
good to anybody,
So I
is it?
thought, you know what, there's some guys that haven't got 12 hours. I'm going to set up a group. And even if my group had one guy coming here, I'd be fucking happy.
Yeah.
See, if I was sitting myself, I'm still going to be there every week.
Yeah.
If I physically can be. You know what I mean? It's just about getting one guy that voice. Some of the weeks we've got 8 guys, some we've got 20 guys. Then it's just such a powerful environment where it costs absolutely fuck all to set up. I mean, if I chipped in, it'd be 25 pence each.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It just shows you how easy it is.
What you can do.
25 pence just to talk to somebody and say, and there's no judgment. You don't go in the group. You don't get a group and go, right, there's some cases, I don't know, I don't want to talk about it, but there's some cases where guys speak about stuff that you see in the papers and it's happened to them, and you're like, do you know what? He probably couldn't say that to his family.
No.
And I'll talk to the black, I could never talk to my family about that. They wouldn't believe me. But in this group, there's no judgment. We're just all right, like, big man, get your story out, share it, how you feeling good, and there's nobody butts in when you're talking. It goes right around the group, and then we have like an informal chat after it. So you share whatever you want to share.
Yeah.
There's times I'll be sitting bawling my fucking eyes out, you know what I mean? Because somebody's talked about a tragedy in their life or something that I can identify to. So just being able to greet, you're sitting greeting in front of guys. It's fucking, there's a guy in the group's ex-SAS. He's sitting greeting and you're like, ah, fucking hell, the big man can greet. I'm going to greet now.
Absolutely.
I'm encouraged to greet. And it's just, the group's been as a lifeline for me. You know what I mean? Yesterday I went and I was just a whole fucking... On the surface, everybody sees me as overachieving and having a good family and a life, but see inside, I'm just like, I can't wait to get out of this group. I can't wait to share how I'm feeling. And then after the group, a few of the boys were like, try to go for a walk. And we just went a walk for 2 hours and just all talking.
It's brilliant to have that community. I think that's, you know, as much as it's important to talk, and you can do that on a one-on-one basis with friends and loved ones, but actually having like a community of people who are all there for each other is something that has...
A lot of the boys swap numbers as well.
Yep.
There's a lot of the guys that are talking to each other outside, away from me. So there's 5 of us went for dinner on the 27th. One of the boys was having a tough time, split up with his wife, away from his wedding on his own Christmas, and we said, listen, let's all meet up. And this is what's good about it, because it's became a support environment.
Yep.
We all went to Cosmos for a buffet, you know what I mean? The guy was laughing away, and he said yesterday, he's like, I don't know what I had before you coming out, because he's lonely. The guy's missed this is the first year in 10 years he's had his wife in Wayne, and it's just and they're there for me, like, at the end of the group. So that's the nice bit of it, is there's a support element.
Yep.
So it's not like, I'm not sitting my notepad and pen going, right, you've got 5 minutes, time, you go. If you want to speak for 2 hours, they'll need to physically throw us at the building, because nobody's moving to everyone, and you're talking 20 big guys, you know what I mean?
Nobody's picking that fight.
The Johnny's not going to go and pick a fight with us, because he'll get tied up, you know what I mean? And he'll need to share all the anxiety we'll give him.
I'd be an issue at your group, man, because honestly, see, as soon as I start fucking going, it's
and
like,
that's good,
shut
mate.
the fuck up.
There's some guys that open their mouth, mate, and you're like, fucking wow. You look at somebody and you go, you look amazing, confident, good looking guy. And then you listen to their story and you think, it just shows you, man, everybody's got a problem.
Absolutely, man.
And it's so brave and I'm proud of the guys that come, and it's hard to come first time. A lot of guys that you're proud when they come and they chat, or they don't need to talk. There's some guys in the group that don't talk at all. They'll talk after it. Yeah. But they won't share their problems. But they'll tell me I'm getting better, I'm feeling better, and
they'll hopefully get there eventually. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be something that will make a difference to them.
I would encourage people, if somebody's got better anxiety and they want to set up a group, just contact the page.
Why
I'll help you set it up. I'll even give you the $5 to do it.
So see, in terms of, obviously, like we were saying earlier on, there are a number of like other stand-ups and, you know, comedians, whatnot, that have similar issues. Is this something that, I mean, I've seen clips, seen bits and bobs, but I've never actually seen like a full set in. Is this something that you use as material? Is it something that you steer away from when you're on stage and your own stuff?
I'll try and stay that. I'll talk about, I used to tell the story about Bangkok. I ran to the hospital I done a gig in the stand and it was a people with anxiety, and I was like, oh, who's got anxiety? And the audience went, "Wait, you're not going to die." So it was like a bit of banter, but you couldn't do it at a normal gig, you know what I mean? And it's, but I stayed away for that, and my stepdad, I can't talk about him because I started to tear up. And
of course.
There's nothing worse going to see a comedian, he's on bawling his fucking eyes out greeting, you know what I mean? But
No, of course.
I think it's something I build myself up to, you know what I mean? It's the way forward. But I'm lucky because I've not had my rise. I've not had somebody, an agent, say to me, right, this is your rise, you've done well. I've done this with people follow that page and support me. So that's why I'm so opened, because a journey we've done together, and I don't see them as fans or followers, I see them as friends.
Yeah.
They've put me in this platform, so it's like I've got a what do you call that? I've got a purpose to be open with people.
Yeah.
To help people.
I seen that quite sort of relevant and prevalent in when you were sending out your DVDs to folk before Christmas there, and I think you got somebody for Poso and you were pure
winding them up.
you giving them the pure eyes springburn. I can't remember, it was a Jitto or whatever it was, you were bamming them up when I was that way. Like, that's quite a personal a connection that you don't see in other sort of mainstream action.
I went for the jail for Lomos. And I just shot on it. I hope this wasn't banked, you know what I mean, to get into the jail, a big square disc. But I signed every disc for that purpose, because it was like,
I thought that was pretty cool.
I signed the polythene. I didn't realise people were up to half it. To sign the jail. But it was 1,400 I sent it, so and I had a day to do it.
Writer's
but
card.
I just wanted that personal touch, just to say like, thanks, you know what I mean, and that's how it's given me the courage to be so open about myself.
I think it's
people deserve it. People deserve the good and the bad.
Yeah.
It's a journey, and I want people to be on that journey. I don't want it just to be, oh, look at me, I'm doing well. Instagram life, you know what I mean? Bottle of champagne, chick salads. But really it's not, it's kebabs and greeting, you know what I mean? So people need to see that side to it as well. So I'm probably a freak of nature when it comes to like being a Z-lister or whatever they call it, because I'm never going to change. I'm never going to change.
You did a couple of massive gigs. I mean, I'd never heard of you. I'd actually seen the men's anxiety group. That was
before me.
Then I'd seen that you were doing a gig in Armadillo, and I always find it really strange. I'm finding it's happening more and more as the sort of traditional ways of getting yourself out there or just getting shut off to people, and they're finding their own ways. Guys like Jerry Cinnamon, for instance. I mean, he's fucking massive. And that guy's not got a record deal, and like you don't have an agent, and you're selling out the fucking two shows.
I've got an agent now, but it's one of my pals. You want
Aye.
a job? That's it. He runs DS Promotions. He had a promotions company, and I said to him, "Going to give us a horn," because I couldn't finance the big venues, but I had the belief in the following that I would sell them out. So he kind of stepped up at the tail end of it there. But my team's brilliant. They know what I'm going through. It's a good, and Jerry's amazing as well, because that indie feel in it. Like I sent the DVDs in my kitchen, that isn't a joke. Literally fucking, and I wrote on the back made in Springburn, you know what I mean? Because they were made in Tory Glen. They're printed in a guy's garage, like a fucking illegal Chinese factory, you know what I mean? And I hand wrapped them on. It was just, but it's
Gary Faulds cottage industry.
I think people love that kind of that raw feel.
I think it makes a connection with folk. We had the similar thing with David Blair as well. The guys at Colonel Mustard and Dijon 5, their connection to their fans is insane, you know what I mean? Like, but again, they're a kind of grassroots, similar to yourselves, just kind of out there doing their own thing and sort of reaping the benefits.
But it's just like ginger people don't like me fat guys with brown hair, you know what I mean? Like, I met him, he's a good guy. He dropped me off actually after the Bumgard podcast.
All right.
He dropped us off, and it's just Scotland is so talented. And you need to, it's like Lee Griffiths, we need to support these people.
Yeah.
Because there's still a sportsman in our nation, and we've got to, if this guy was supported right, he might be a bit more open.
Aye.
I mean, if we're not fucking shutting him down and slagging him and writing memes about him, he might actually open him up and go, right, I've got him mental health or anxiety, and this is what I'm doing to better it. That could be fucking game changing for these fans.
Yeah.
People who look up to him.
Absolutely.
But yet society's getting every fucking crack in the cranny and try to shut him down.
That one of the nation's leading strikers at an international level as well. I mean,
one of my favourite goals, mate, scored against England.
I was just going to say, he just scored two free kicks against England, and like in that game looked like a world class player. And when it came out with the mental health and Brendan Rodgers was talking about that he was struggling with mental health issues, I genuinely thought this will be what's going on with this guy, because I've always wondered, how can this guy go for 1 week looking like a world class player to the next week looking like he's not interested? And it's probably on his head. It's happening in his head, and it's not that he's not interested, it's just that he doesn't understand what's going on in his brain, and he can't motivate himself, and because he's definitely got the talent, like you're saying, Scotland's really talented. Something that I've noticed about Jerry is, I mean, I was in bands and I was a musician for years, and I wouldn't consider myself a fan of Jerry Cinnamon's music. I'm listening to it, and undoubtedly good, but it's not the type of thing that I'd listen to. But I'd support that guy 100%.
Yeah.
And I've been on tour with bands where you're looking at them and you're going, I think these are a bit shite, but I'm still going to support these because we're in this together. Do you know what I mean? It's not about the quality of your art, it's just the fact that you're out there doing that, and I want to support that because I want to do that, and I want you to support me, and then we go around and just like a big massive circle.
I love Jerry's stagecraft.
He's
love the way he
amazing
connects
live.
with his audience.
He's amazing live. He's absolutely outstanding live. Just no.
I would love a live.
Music,
I would love
a
a live album because you get that whole. I went to see him in Liverpool. I got tickets off one of my fans. And they're like, "Do you want tickets, Jerry's in Liverpool?" And I was like, "Fuck it." The day before, and we all went down. And that was a big thing, going in a big crowd. Being in the crowd, it's alright when you're on stage, but seeing him in a crowd, I go kind of, fuck, here we go, anxiety's kicking in.
Yeah.
But I just remember standing and watching him with tears down my face, like, I can't believe he's Scottish.
Aye.
It's fucking
It's
incredible.
unbelievable what the guy's doing, man. It's
Flair's gone off and all
unbelievable.
that.
I know,
It's
man.
like,
He's
just-
captured that whole sort of football culture that started to come up, and that sort of 90s lad thing that's happening, and he sounds like that as well, do you know what I mean? And he looks the part, and also he's a genuinely fucking good guy. He's not a prick, do you know what I mean? He's not out there being the big I am. He's very humble if you meet him and speak
I like
to him.
he's also really wary of like touting and
Great
stuff
guy.
like that for his gigs. He wants to make sure folk are getting face value
I've
tickets
just
and all
had,
that kind
I've
of
had the
stuff, you
same
know what I
people
mean? Like,
at Viva Go-Go.
right.
They're selling my tickets, 59 quid a ticket. I'm going to be like, don't buy any fucking, I'm not worth 59 quid. They're absolute cunts, you know what I mean?
Aye. It's like legalised touting. I think the worst one I got was I was trying to see Prince, and I was on the Hydro website or whatever it was 120 quid, and I'm like, right, do you know what? How many times am I going to get to see Prince? Let's just do this. Sold out. Half an hour later, you're on one of these, whatever it is, get me in, and it's like £250, and you're like, and it's like Ticketmaster. Like they've sold tickets to themselves to double the price, and you're like, that's not cool. But I love that guys like, say Jerry and that have got their fans
It's not
in
fair
mind.
in your following, I don't
You
think.
know what I mean? Like,
It's not fair and it's not fair on the artist. Because Prince wouldn't have got that 250 quid.
no, absolutely not.
That's an economy that's created
Oh,
to give Ticketmaster an extra fucking bung. It's got
like,
nothing to do
it's
with
like
the
buying
artist.
a DVD and copying 10 of them and selling another 10.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
It's the exact same thing, but they've been caught out, haven't they? The
I think that's
Ticketmaster
changing,
getting
aye.
the calls, I'm pretty sure, for that getting
Really,
in. Aye, because they looked at it and it turns out that it's no people, that it's just them that's doing it, and it's like bots, so like automated.
They're watching the
fucking-
buying.
Yeah.
Because it happened to me with the Armadillo. And it came up saying almost sold out. And I'm like, a fucking dancer. And my agent's like, no, mate, you've still got 1,000 seats on the sale yet. And I'm like, you bastards, you know what I mean?
Aye.
But they're trickling out the tickets to
That's
sort
it,
of
mate, aye.
ramp up the demand.
So when's that? November?
November the 2nd,
November the 2nd.
I'm going a long 1.5 after that. I've had a
Having a
1.5
nice
now,
Christmas.
but it's been brutal. As like you were saying at the start of the podcast. When you're busy and you're grafting, as soon as you take time off and sit back, you're kind of like, the fuck am I supposed to do?
Aye. When you're
That's
not
it.
focused elsewhere.
That's another thing that I've had to learn, is learning how to relax, chill out. No, because I had done that thing where I was like, right, Monday I'm at uni, Tuesday I'm at jiu-jitsu, Wednesday I'm at Muay Thai, Thursday I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and then you really got to take a wee day to myself, and then you sit down and you go, I don't want to take a day to
This is
myself.
shite.
This is I don't feel right. I don't feel right doing this, but you need that time. You need to be able to relax so that you can re-energise yourself to go again. Do you know what I mean? I think that
I went on a walk here in Cyprus and I was one of those, I have a wee day off, just sitting chilling about. Like 10 minutes I was on the couch and I'm like, fuck this. Backpack on, shorts on, t-shirt on. And I done a wee kick, see like a wee Mary Poppins kick. Going out the door and I was like, this is fucking brilliant, cutting about myself. And it's so important you do quality stuff with yourself,
Yeah.
not just sit in the house.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that you can do stuff like, it's not just about sitting about and doing fuck all and eating a Domino's and getting stoned or whatever it is that you want to do, and sitting. It's like this Netflix. Just watch 12 hours of Netflix and nothing goes in because your brain's just occupied with what's going on, like in general. You need to go and do things that make you feel good. I've found that that's the way I've learned how to relax, is that I love reading. I've discovered I hadn't read a book in probably between the ages of 18 and 30. When I was 30, I was like, oh, fuck, I love reading. Surprise, surprise. So now I read. Whereas somebody might think, well, that's no really relaxing. You're still learning. But that's what I
Your
want to
mind's
do.
away from it, it's
This is
going
what I
on.
want to do and keep myself ticking there. And it also means that I don't get used to sitting about doing nothing, because once you get used to sitting about doing nothing and being static, it's so hard to get yourself going again. Do you know what I mean?
Do you need to have a standard in your life where I've got a standard, the new one that I put in my life, and it's my phone's off at 9:30 at night. And I sit with my wife for an hour and a half watching a film. Like,
I do the exact same thing, man.
I hate sitting on my phone now, seeing all on social media, and it's like negative this, and the Lee Griffiths thing. That
Yeah.
fucking rattled me. So I do think it's like I'm going to put that to 8 o'clock now. 8 o'clock now I'm going to be like, alright, phone's off, in the drawer.
That
Give
makes
my
that
wife
same, mate.
quality
I
time.
set my alarm at 8 o'clock and I put my phone aside, and the only time that I look at it is if it goes, and it's only WhatsApp that I leave on. Everything else just gets switched off, no notifications, and the amount of benefit that I've seen for that's incredible. I've also started noticing in the last week actually that getting out of my bed, waking up, I meditate for 20 minutes and I go for a shower and then I come out and looking at my phone is actually no doing me any good, because that, like you're saying, I'm massive on Twitter. I love Twitter, but Twitter is just so negative and it just feeds this negativity inside
the
yourself.
cuts are
Man.
born on Twitter, aren't they? Like, I love Facebook, I'm pro Facebook, but Twitter I just like that. Calling the vegans called me virgins. I thought that was funny, but
It's just
I'm
like
pissed off a whole
it's
society of people.
full
that
outrage, but
they just
so
came
it
for
is
me. It was like,
nobody actually cares about vegan
missile
sausage
shots at me,
rolls.
you know what I mean?
It's like almost like, outrage on cue. A lot of them, you know what I mean, where especially, where all the stuff is going Brexits and Trumps and all these other things, like it's just constant outrage, and like that can it be genuine and can it be sustainable for people? And I think switching off is definitely the right thing. I mean, me personally, I don't use my phone a lot during the day because I'm at work, and I like to, when I'm at work, focus on what I'm doing at work, and that helps me a lot. But at night time I smoke outside the house, don't smoke in the house because of the rain, and I will find myself scrolling through. But after conversation with you in recent weeks, I've definitely been like, right, 9:30, 10 o'clock, like just turn the phone out a wee bit, because I've found myself almost kind of like hooked, or as much as I'm not getting involved in these conversations,
but as soon as you
you're
read that,
hooked to
it's
it.
in your head.
Aye, and
If
I'm
you
like,
pick up your phone, as soon as you wake up, some that bastard's cheated on me, or they fucking punched me in the face.
Yep.
You start getting the feelings. That's a shame, punch in the face, and then what you're doing is you've just let that in your life. You know what I mean? So I like what you say here. I might do that in the morning. I'll look at my phone in the morning to do
Try and
my
get
live
myself
video.
until at least 10. So I got up at
To wake up.
7:30 every morning, and I'm usually the first I'd look at my phone. I've meditated and I've had my shower and I'm ready. It's like 8:20, and that's when so I try and leave it to 10 to know going Twitter or Facebook or
I tried
Instagram.
that
do you know
meditation.
what
It was the megahertz. It was like the
tone?
the Buddha's bowls. Oh.
I mean? 81.5
And
megahertz.
I woke up, I fucking slabbered in my face. I was like, that was amazing. I felt amazing. It must be the therapy before it triggered something.
All right.
I was just sitting, I wasn't sleeping, but I was sleeping kind of thing. And I just went big slabbered in my face, and I was like, that was brilliant, like Scooby-Doo, you know what I mean?
I love meditating. I mean, I do it twice a day. I do 20 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night. I have used healing tones and the 160 and 81 megahertz and stuff, but I was just kind of like, well, didn't do anything that Headspace didn't do for me.
You ever tried Reiki?
No, I haven't.
I got free Reiki because the woman had seen it in my anxiety page, and honestly, I felt like I was getting fucking shadowed by Spirit Witch. Just hovering above me with a big stone. That was good.
It's an odd one.
I was
that, isn't it?
I was anxious as fuck because I was just going to smash me in the back with a stone and rape me or something. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to get. But she was brilliant. She was like, "Do you feel better? Like the energy took all the energy out of you." And I'm like, "Aye."
You're not going to go now.
We're out and got our own chips. You know what I mean? That was fucking bizarre.
Well, I had a turning point about 6 months ago where I was talking in class. So when I'm got to uni, they actively promote you speaking, and we do fake, they're called triads. We do fake sessions with each other, but you're encouraged to be speaking the truth. So if you've got something that's going on in your life, talk about it, and you actually get something for it. It's really good actually. Like, even though it's sort of like role play, you get lost in it. First 30 seconds is a bit awkward, but then 30 seconds in, you're just like, and then the person gets an opportunity to try and shine a light on some of the stuff that you're saying. And I actually get the opportunity to go with my lecturer, and I was telling him about what had happened was I'd injured myself. I'd injured my shoulder doing jiu-jitsu, and it meant that I was out for 6 weeks, and it was the end of my world. I was in my bed. I was like, what the fuck am I going to do here? My diet went to fuck. Everything just went. Just as soon as I had this one thing, this injury, and I was talking to him about this struggle, and he really had a call to me. He was like, it sounds like you're trying to make things outside you make your inside feel better, and you need to put some more work into making your inside better so that you can enjoy these things that you're actually talking about. Because he was saying to me, it doesn't sound like you enjoy them. It sounds like they're a chore, that you're going to these things because you know that it'll make you feel better. You're not doing it for any sort of
Take a tablet.
enjoyment. Exactly. And it was that idea that nothing outside of you is going to make your inside feel better. So let's talk about how we can make your inside feel better. Like, what's going on in your head when you're thinking about jiu-jitsu. So I used to be a bigger guy. I was thinking, I'm going to put weight on, right? I'm going to go backwards in my martial arts. I don't want to do that. And then it was all, it just descended down to this whole thing. It was like, nah, you're a piece of shit, man. Like, that's your fault. You get injured. No, you can't do this. You're a fucking idiot. And it was just that whole, going back to my dad, you're an idiot. You need to be a bigger guy. You need to be this. You need to be that. And it was just all of that going on in my head. That was in. So,
what is it you study at uni?
Cognitive behavioural therapy.
That's amazing. No, I read up on something called the empty chair theory.
Okay.
And that really helped me with my dad.
Talk to the empty
I never
chair.
got to say cheerio. I spoke to the chair and I'm like, that's a lot of shite. See, within about 3 minutes of bawling my eyes out.
No.
It was
See what I said
took
earlier
a massive
on?
weight off us.
I said a bit earlier on, can't remember the context, it's about you. It's no about. So we sit and we tell ourselves, this guy's done that, or that guy's done this, and they've done this, and I don't get the opportunity to say X, Y, and Z to this person, and now they're going, I can't do that. But the reality is that that's about you. So what are you doing? You're not letting it out. Just go and let it out. It's like that idea, like write a letter, don't send it. That works, man. That seriously works. If you're feeling a strong emotion towards a certain individual because they've done something, it isn't because they've done it, it's the way that you've took it.
One of the boys in my group were talking about that. The letter thing.
Right.
He wrote a letter and just set it in fire.
Aye, don't send it to him.
But it was like, it was aimed at somebody who hurt him in his life, and it was fucking, and he's like, I didn't suggest that to him. He told me about it, and he's like, I just fucking lifted it right off of my life.
Yep.
That's what the group's good for, because you get things like that. People talk about the chair theory.
Right. Aye, so you get like sort of
CBT
best
is always a
practice.
favourite. Let's all get stoned. It's like, no, it's not what CBT is, mate.
No, definitely.
You're
isn't
smoking
it?
weed, that's
Aye,
what that is.
One of the things that's came to me as well is that CBT is almost like a wee band-aid. So people will go and they'll have 5 sessions because it doesn't really go any further than that. 5 or 6 sessions of CBT, giving you a wee bit of sort of rationalisation of your thoughts and why do you feel like this, why do you feel like that. But if you've got something underlying, like I did, my relationship with my parents, or somebody's broke your heart 10 years ago and you've never really got at it, you kind of need to go back and put nails in the coffins. And the only way that you can do that, because you can't go back and let's find this last out when I was 17, you can't really do that. The only way that you can actually do it for me is to let it go, and to let it go you need to let it out. So to let it out, that's where the empty chair theory comes in. That's where writing letters, journaling, just getting your emotions out there, man. Even talking to somebody, like somebody that's unrelated, just sitting down and just saying, this person done me wrong, and just get it all out. It's so powerful. It is so powerful. But changing the way you think and changing the way that you perceive things is a massive step in the right direction, but it doesn't fix stuff for people. And what will end up happening, in my opinion, is that something else will come up and they'll just go back. They'll revert back to where they were because they haven't actually done anything to like square the circle.
See, I like to use it about the bucket, just letting wee drips in at a time. It's going to build up. So that's how now I'm like, see if something comes up, it gets dealt with in 24 hours.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So see what you're saying about talking to your missus?
Aye.
Like, I used to just, in previous relationships, and even at the start of the relationship I'm in just now, we'd have an argument, I would sit and be like, fucking bastard this and bastard that. In my head, wouldn't say it because I'd be like, this isn't that big a deal. But no realising that by doing that, what I'm doing is telling myself, your emotions are unacceptable and she's right and you're wrong, and don't bring this up to MD when what you said, don't run away from it. Just sit down and go, here's how I'm feeling. She'll tell you how you're feeling.
Completely changed the game. Because if you're getting shit in your home, outside the street's going to be horrible.
Yeah.
Aye.
So my home's my safe place, my foundations in my life. And my wife is the most important person in my life, with my veins, but even having her understand it was a completely different atmosphere. And it was after my gig, all that happened, and I phoned her up and she says, what the fuck happened here? Because my mum phoned her, like, what the fuck you done to my sons? Paul's went to jail and we've been on the motorway, and she's like, what's going on? And I broke down and told her properly what was going on. And it was something that I could have just said to her, go and do that. Or tell me, and it's something so simple that I didn't deal with. But just having that ability and courage to say to somebody, going to just, if I say this or say that, going to give some support. And people want to support you, they don't actually see you fucking kill yourself.
Absolutely not.
But,
I think it has got to have a knock-on effect on your relationship in general, because I find as well that, and I've always struggled for my teen years through with depression. My realisation about anxiety have been a relatively new thing, and then having the conversation with my partner about the difference between the two, you know what I mean? Like, because it's not just you take a pill and it goes away, as we've discussed, you know what I mean? Like, I think I was always really wary about actually describing what the anxiety was like, and when we did, we had that, as you say, that sort of clear communication between each other, better understanding. But then that bleeds out into your relationship where you become more open in other areas about your emotions,
That's
not just
it,
about
aye.
your anxiety. And I think it's something that has brought me and her immensely closer together than we ever were. You know what I mean?
That's something similar happened to me. We done obviously my anxiety was a big problem, but there was obviously characteristics I had as a man that was ill-fitting for my relationship, that had to change. The lust, liking lassies' pictures on Facebook, all things that was hurting my wife, but I didn't see it any different because I thought that was normal. So because I was so opened that we've started to get marriage counselling, and that's just opened a whole new can of whip-ass to the marriage, and the marriage is just fucking thriving. And it's because we've got that courage to address things. It was funny because we went in the first day of the marriage counselling, they're like, write some stuff down you don't like your partner does. So my wife's an absolute princess, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, it's like 2 things, she farts and all that, or she doesn't make me food, and I always have to cook, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, these 2 things, and then she put hers out, and it was like a fucking scroll, you know what I mean? I was like, man, such a fucking shit guy, but it was so good because it was all wee things that I could go, right, don't like people's pictures on Facebook. That gives her anxiety.
Yep.
Because she would go in and see, Gary liked this picture, and I'd just be liking pictures just to show people I've got their attention.
Yeah.
But things like that, and it's good because when you address a problem, it helps a problem. Doesn't necessarily mean you address a problem, it creates another fight, it doesn't. It addresses it and you can move forward in your life.
Exactly.
And I'm preaching.
I think if you were to go back 5 years and one of your mates was to come to you and go, I'm going to marriage counselling with my missus, you'd be like, what?
You're sticking up in them.
Exactly.
Try bag, get back in the strippers, hurry up.
That's it, man. Like, it's almost like it's been like a point of weakness, and this is part of, like, I think that although it's based on profit in America, this is where they get things right because they encourage people to go and talk, and they've got a huge, I mean, if you want a therapist, you can get them like that. Like,
It's amazing.
They're everywhere.
And the motivational speakers that are all great as well. Like.
Yeah. It's all based on profit, whether or not you think that that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I think that it's part of where we fail in Britain. It's a British thing. It's this sort of stiff upper lip. Like, you don't share your, like, I can remember even my mum and my dad saying to my mom, like, why are you telling people about our life? Like, that's between me and you.
Private, aye.
And it's almost like that sort of like, I don't share. Why are you sharing? But that's because he's ashamed of his behaviour. Do you know what I mean? That looking back, before I've became aware of my own thoughts and behaviours, I would have just thought that's the way you need to be. You be private and you don't share your relations. You don't ever let anybody see in. When
I was out with the marriage counsellor. I was like, oh, don't fucking talk about that, the Facebook thing.
Quite guarded.
She's like, no, I need to because it's fucking...
It's the whole point in being
it's
here.
the reason I threw you at the house.
Aye.
But see, when he spoke about it, I'm like, that guy's got a point, you know what I mean? Like, and I've never done it again. Like,
that's
something so
amazing.
simple.
That's amazing. Like, if more people... I think that there's a lot of people out there that have got like really good relationships and really good like girlfriends, boyfriends, and they just don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to actually act, and like you're saying, gear up stupid shit like messaging people on Instagram, liking their photos, just being a dick, really. Do you know what I mean?
Sitting on your
like,
game, Red Dead 2 at the end of the night for 2 hours, and she's sitting there watching you playing a game. Like, it's amazing because it'd be easier to split up with Ashley and just go about my life and be single and enjoy the fame, but she's the core of my life, and it's like, if I didn't have her, I'd be a fucking wreck.
Yeah.
And I love her as well. Sex is amazing. She's a great person, you know what I mean? So she's got everything I look for in a woman, but my arrogance nearly pushed me away from her. And I'm just glad that I brought up the courage to go, right, I've been a bit of a dick here. Let's say sorry and never do it again. And it's just overpowering, you know what I mean?
That's brilliant, man.
refreshing to hear, man. We've went over an hour. We're about an hour and 15 minutes, mate. Like, this has been a great conversation, man. I've really enjoyed talking to you, man. You're
Thank
some
you.
guy.
Thanks for having me too.
Not at all, man. It's been great.
You've got great energy, dude. Do you want to just tell people where they can find you?
Find me at Gary Faulds Comedian on Facebook, Gary Faulds on Twitter, garyfalls.co.uk for my website. And my anxiety groups every Saturday at Barmulloch Community Centre and Library at 1:30. It's free. You don't need to tell me you're coming, just turn up and get help.
Superb, mate. Thanks
Excellent.
again, buddy.
No, thanks
Best of luck with the future, man.
Aye, thank you.